Right now, I'll prove it to you. Jump up and down a little bit, and make a little space from the person next to you if you can. So if you went like this, you're ideally not going to take anyone's eye out or anything like that. Okay. Now, stop bouncing. I love the energy, though. Notice where your feet are. I want you to keep your feet stationary the entire time. And what I want you to do is with your right hand, just point forward with your right hand. Your other right hand, sir. Sorry. I know. All right, forward with your right hand. And what I want you to do is without moving your feet, just turn to your right, clockwise, as far as you could go, and notice where you're pointing as you take your neighbor's eye out. Notice how far you could go. Notice where you're pointing. Notice the exact spot. Come back center. Now put your arms down. Now I'm going to take you through a really quick visualization exercise. So take a deep breath. Exhale and close your eyes. Put your arms by your side, out of your pockets, by your side, and breathe normally. And with your eyes closed, we're going to play a game. I want you just imagine that you're raising your arm again, but this time imagine you're turning twice as far, 2 times as far. Like you're getting a good stretch. It's pleasant. Feel that in your body. And if you can't imagine it, just imagine that you're imagining it. And then again, raise your arm, point forward. And this time, no, with your eyes closed, just imagine, just in your mind, see and feel yourself turning 3 times as far. Just feel it in your body with your arms by your side. Just imagine turning around 3 times. And then one more time with a smile on your face thinking, what does this have to do with learning faster? See and feel yourself turning 4 times around in your body. See and feel yourself turning 4 times around like you're Gumby, like you're made out of rubber. Great stretch. All right, open your eyes. Now, raise your arm again, point forward with your right hand. And now turn to your right now, as far as you can now go. Wow. Raise your hand or make some noise if you went further the second time. Have a seat. Now, some of you went further. Some of you went 25% further. Some of you went 50% further. Yes? Raise your hand if you went further a second time. Now, here's the magic question, right? That you know I'm going to ask you even before I ask it. Were you physically capable of turning that far the first time? Yes. Like nobody took a yoga class and my eyes were closed, right? You're physically capable of it. Where was the block or the limitation, if there was one? Where was it? In your mind, right? In your mind. And you're like, Jim, I didn't have a belief on how far I could turn. How many beliefs do you think we have? Millions and zillions of beliefs, right? Because here's what you want to write down. All behavior is belief driven. All behavior is belief what? Some of you went 25, 50% further with no anything. Remember Vishen was talking about how it's not working hard, but it's when you're in a certain state of mind, you could just go further and it's effortless. How many people have experienced this state of flow before? That state of flow where you lose track of time, where your attention is right there and you're in the moment. And it's the level of challenge is really matching your level of capabilities, and you're stretching yourself and you're in that zone, right? Like that athletes talk about, that Stephen Kotler talks about in The Rise of Superman and Stealing Fire and so on. How many people are familiar with Steve's work, by the way? I'm just curious as context. Okay, so how do you get into those states? One of the ways is just believing that you can. Because if you believe you can or believe you can, either way you're right. Because all behavior is belief driven. Some of you went 25, 50% or more. What if you could go 25, 50% more in your business? That effortless. What if you could go 25, 50% even more in your body or in your relationship? Did you work harder the second time? When you turned the second time, yes or no? No, because it's a state.
What are the ideas we should be saying to ourselves internally and externally?
Well, I think you have an affirmation, a positive statement from yourself you give to yourself, and that has something to do with your goal. You know, that's how you change the paradigm. The paradigm can only be changed one of 2 ways. One is an emotional impact, which doesn't happen often. And the other...
What's the example for that?
An example for that would be 9/11.
Yeah.
Now, 9/11 wasn't an emotional impact for me. It probably wasn't for you. But for people that lived right near there or lost somebody there, that was emotional impact. Mm-hmm. Just something that hit you so hard
Yeah.
It just knocks you off your pins.
Emotional impact.
And repetition, constant spaced repetition. See, you take this affirmation of thing I want to change, and you've got to keep repeating it to yourself. You've got to keep seeing it through the repetition of it. Pretty soon it becomes fixed in your mind. Then the thing you're afraid of becomes a habit. You just automatically do it.
Yeah.
Like there's things you do automatically today that you don't even give a thought to.
Yeah.
But at one time you're afraid to do it.
Sure.
So I think that's how you keep changing. Thought is a very powerful, thought is the preamble to everything. Thought waves are cosmic waves. They penetrate all time and space. I had a good fortune working with Ed Mitchell. He was the captain of the lunar landing module on one of the Apollo flights. And he did thought transference exercises from the other side of the moon.
Wow.
With Sherman and Ford here on Earth. They're all gone now. But you're doing thought transfer exercises all the time. And we just have not got to a point where we really understand that. Like if I, where's my phone? Here it is. If I dial your number, I'm on your frequency. I will never get Tiffany's phone to ring.
Right.
I will only get your phone to ring. If I take a picture of Tiffany and I send it to a friend of mine in Singapore, simultaneously with me hitting send here in Los Angeles, they've got it in Singapore. You know that.
Yeah.
Well, thought works the same way. I could be thinking of you, I'll trigger cells in your brain. And those cells, if you're not thinking, those cells will start jiggling, and you'll start thinking of me. And maybe I'll phone you and say, this is the damnest thing, I was just thinking of you.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Well, we got to understand what's happening. You think on frequencies. Now, this has to do with goals. When you set a goal, you have to flip your brain onto the frequency that the good that you desire or that you need for that goal is there. So most people don't make the decision because they don't know how to get it. You don't have to know how to get it. That's why von Braun said when Kennedy asked him how to get to the moon, the will to do it. You're going to make the decision. You don't make the decision when you've got enough money or when you've got all the resources. You make the decision. When you make the decision, you flip your brain onto a higher frequency, and then you're on the frequency, you begin to attract everything on that frequency. That's where the law of attraction comes in. See, the secret brought out the law of attraction, but it didn't explain it. None of them explained it. I didn't even explain it. I didn't get the time. Most people don't even understand it. You can only attract according to the frequency that you're operating on. Attraction is a secondary law. The primary law is the law of vibration. That's a primary law of the universe. Everything in this room is moving. Nothing rests. This table's moving. It just appears to be still. The law of vibration decrees everything moves, nothing rests. Well, when you think, you put you onto a frequency. You can only attract what's on that frequency. You think about a person a lot. Just concentrate on that person will phone you. Or you'll bump into them on the street. Because
you're thinking about it, yeah.
The law of attraction takes over. You could attract to you what you're in harmony with. Well, when you set goals, you got to see yourself already there. That's called a mindset. A lot of people talk about mindset, they don't understand what it is. They set their mind on the frequency that they have to be in to attract what they have to attract. And that's how the goal moves into form. You get emotionally involved, you're so intellectually and emotionally involved. The only problem is you don't have it on the physical plane yet, but it will manifest in time.
You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here.